Okay, let me give you 3 good stories here. Now, these are big stories, and they're going to be, you're probably going to, you'll hear talk about them, but nobody will put this into perspective. This is you standing up, okay? These 3 things are happening because you are standing up. Story number 1. As of October 8th, PayPal's new acceptable use policy states that, effective November 3rd, activities like the sending, posting, or publication of any message, content, or materials may qualify as violations if the company decides they are harmful, obscene, harassing, or objectionable. Basically, whatever we want. If they depict, promote, or incite hatred or discrimination of protected groups, you go after white guys, though, no problem, or of individuals of groups based on protected characteristics, race, religion, gender identity, sexual orientation, or are fraudulent, promote misinformation, or unlawful. For each violation, a user may be subject to damages, including liquidated damages of $2,500 US, which may be debited directly from your PayPal accounts. You gotta be kidding me. Okay, now this happened, last week? And last week we talked about it, but apparently a lot of other people talked about it too. Now, they are not a neutral organization. They haven't even really said that they are a neutral organization, although they say they value uniqueness and diversity of thought. Oh, do you? Is that why you shut down the account of the Free Speech Union? Because they were a little upset about the radical gender theory in British schools? Yeah. Or how about gays against groomers? Why'd you shut them down? You didn't even have an explanation for that one. Gays for Groomers say more and more companies are coming out in full support of the sexualization, indoctrination, and medicalization of minors. By the way, PayPal also shut down Us for Them, a campaign group that advocated for reopening schools during the COVID-19 lockdowns. Got to shut them up. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, they're not neutral. However, here's the good news. In a tweet on Saturday, just a few days after they released this 7-page document, David Marcus spoke out against the new policy, first reported by the Daily Wire, that would apparently allow the digital payment processor to charge $2,500. Elon Musk, another co-founder of PayPal, said he agreed with the criticism, joining a number of others who have spoken out against the new policy. He said, "It's really hard for me to openly criticize a company that I used to love and I gave so much to, but PayPal's new users rules or whatever goes against everything I believe in. A private company now gets to decide to take your money if you say something they disagree with. That's insanity." And some other people started saying, David Sachs said, "Get your money out of PayPal right now." Scott Adams from Dilbert said, "Seriously, close your PayPal account immediately if they don't reverse this today." Vivek Ramaswamy said, "Misinformation police are now extending their reach beyond social media accounts." Blah, 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 blah. Whole bunch of people. You spoke out about it. Blake Masters, the Arizona Senate campaign, he said, "Yeah, I get to Washington soon, and I'm going to be working on this." Then PayPal just released this. That notice went out in error, and we included some incorrect information. We're not fining people for misinformation, and this language was never intended to be inserted into our policy. Our teams are working now to correct our policy pages. Oh, you know, these companies have such a weird habit of like really bizarre things happening.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, like I've never said, hey, by the way, just some company policy, you know, if you have brown hair, it's okay. It's absolutely okay to harass you because we're going to fire you anyway because you have brown hair. Never said that. Oops. How did that get into the policy? How did that happen?
Somebody broke into the policy and just started writing stuff in it.
Yeah.
I hate that.
That would be I would accept that. Yeah. I would like to see the termination of that person. Mm-hmm. But it's just like they have a bunch of rogue people in there that are just like, watch this. We're gonna write that. We're gonna take people's money. You should fire those people. Then next story. Because of you, Vanderbilt to pause gender transition surgeries on minors. The Vanderbilt University Medical Center has paused all gender transition surgeries for minors following an explosive report about their pediatric gender services and a letter from the state legislators demanding the practices stop. We are, by the way, this is really Daily Wire. What's his name on the Daily Wire that did this? We are pausing gender affirmation surgeries on patients under 18 while we complete this review, which may take several months. In addition, we understand the issue is likely to be taken up by the General Assembly in its next legislative session. And as always, we assure that our programs will comply with any new requirements which may be established as part of Tennessee law. So no more hormones or double mastectomies for kids. That's probably a good thing.
Well, since when you change gender, the suicide rate for those kids goes up 20 times the
that's
national
not 30
average.
times, is it?
No, it's not 30
it's
times.
Not 100 times?
It is not 100 times.
Right.
It's only 20 times the rate.
Right. So thank you for standing up. See what happens when we stand up?
Mm-hmm.
Several states, here's number 3. Several states have launched efforts to root out ESG, with 19 GOP attorneys general sending a letter to BlackRock. BlackRock increasingly becoming a Republican target, challenging the money manager's commitment to ESG principles. They claim that BlackRock's policies are undercutting shareholder profits and managing state pension funds. So Louisiana decided to go a step further. God bless the state treasurer there, John Schroeder. He announced last week the state has divested $560 million, a number that will increase to $794 million over the coming months as Louisiana exits BlackRock money market funds, mutual funds, and exchange-traded fund holdings. He writes, "Your blatantly anti-fossil fuel policies will destroy Louisiana's economy. This divestment is necessary to protect Louisiana from actions and policies that you would actively seek to hamstring our fossil fuel sector. In my opinion, your support of ESG investing is inconsistent with the best economic interest and values of Louisiana." All of these things are happening because, 1, somebody was brave enough to expose them. Okay? Matt Walsh. He's the guy who's been exposing and really bringing it to people's attentions, especially at Vanderbilt. That's him. So he was brave enough to stand there and tell you. And then you stood up. This is fantastic news. They are scared out of their mind. This is all coming undone. I'll tell you how this ends for them. I'll show you why this is coming undone in 60 seconds. All right, let me show you why this is all coming undone. First of all, everything they talk about is nuts. It's nuts. There's no common sense to any of this stuff, right? You know it. I know it. Gee, it looks like a lot of people are going to be freezing to death in Europe. People in Europe are literally buying horse and cow dung to burn in their fireplaces to keep warm. That's going to work out well. It's going to work out well. So what does our president and the progressive left do? Well, they cancel the pipelines, but they want to make sure that we have oil. So first, they are willing to sacrifice everything they say they believe in, with the death of Khashoggi, and go over and kneel at the feet of the Saudi prince after insulting him. And he not only doesn't raise it by 20%, I think he was asking. He reduces the amount they're producing. That's how ineffective these guys are. So we're willing to go over to Saudi Arabia, but not here. Now we're going to Venezuela. And we are now trying to buy oil from Venezuela, but not from here. Not in America. No. Venezuela, we'd rather help them. That makes no sense. You know it. I know it. This is the other reason why it's all falling apart. These people are not who they say they are. Not who they are forcing us to say we are. Okay? They're saying to us that we're the racist. And we're like, I'm not a racist. I'm not a racist. Who are they? A recording, which was reported in the Los Angeles Times and has not yet been reviewed by the New York Post, captured the council president, the L.A. council, as referring to her colleague Mike Bonin's black son as S. Chenguito, is that right? Which apparently means that little monkey in Spanish. Oh, okay, all right. Martinez, who's a Latina, Latinx, also said Bonin, who is white, was raising a toddler like a little white kid. I was like, this kid needs a beatdown. Let me take him around the corner and I'll bring him back, the city council president said. She also referred to the child as something else, which is the N-word in Spanish, I'm guessing. At another point, in the roughly hour-long conversation, she called Bonin, also a Democrat, that little bitch. Kevin DeLeon, a member of the city council who unsuccessfully ran for mayor in California Senate, said in the recording that Bonin treated his child like a little yard bag or a Louis Vuitton bag. So the audio, which was recorded, we don't know by who, was posted on Reddit. That user that posted it is now suspended. Ha. Before the suspension, it was posted. It says, wow, you know it happens, but when you actually hear it, it's unbelievable. This looks like the labor movement is in bed with City Hall. Of course it is. Of course it is. Now, the guy whose son, by the way, 3 years old, that was attacked, says he's heartsick and angry. And the leaked audio also captures Martinez attacking the progressive L.A. district attorney, saying, F that guy, he's with the blacks. So we know who these people are. It's only a matter of time before they expose themselves. On the other side, you have what's happening in Florida. Almost 100% of the power has now been restored. This came over the weekend. Almost 100% of the power has been restored. DeSantis has done an incredible job. Now, let me give you another reason. There is a huge, huge outpouring of women and girls on the streets in Iran. And they are being shot, imprisoned, tortured. But it's not stopping them. This is youth in the streets. And they said they're not going to stop. The regime has had internet blackouts, so it's hard for them to communicate. They don't know what's going to be happening to them at all, but there's still massive gatherings that are going on, patrols in almost every streets. One of the girls said, I assure you the protests are not over. The people are angry. They're talking back to the police in ways I've never seen. Yet our left is not standing with these girls. The people who protest to love women so much are not standing. Ahmed Abu Murkhaya, I guess, 25 years old. I'm just going to call him Ahmed. He reportedly was living in Israel for 2 years and seeking resettlement in Canada because of threats to his life because he was gay. Israel was protecting him from the Palestinians. Last Wednesday, he was beheaded in the West Bank. The victim's friends and media outlets said that he was kidnapped from Israel and taken to the Palestinian city. Authorities arrested a suspect in the killing who filmed the murder and then posted it on social media. Have you heard any gay organization talk about this? Have you heard any gay organization that says that the Palestinians are open-minded? It's Israel that is the problem. Really? Because Israel was protecting and accepting of the man's lifestyle. The Palestinians took him, kidnapped him. His family was behind it and beheaded him. Truth always wins. We just have to stand up and speak it.